the new master and mistress. Dr. Flint, a physician in the neighborhood, had married the sister of my mistress, and I was now the property of their little daughter. When we entered our new home, we encountered cold looks, cold words, and cold treatment. Not long after, my father died. I was ordered to go for flowers that the mistress's house might be decorated for an evening party, while the dead body of my father was lying within a mile of me. Little attention was paid to the slaves' meals in Dr. Flint's house. Grandmother often stood at the gate with something for my breakfast or dinner. I was indebted to her for all my comforts, spiritual or temporal. It was her labor that supplied my scanty wardrobe. Mrs. Flint, like many Southern women, was totally deficient in energy. She had not strength to superintend her household affairs, but her nerves were so strong that she could sit in an easy chair and see a woman whipped till the blood trickled from every stroke of the lash. As I entered my 15th year, my master began to whisper foul words in my ear. Young as I was, I could not remain ignorant of their import. He peopled my young mind with unclean images, such as only a vile monster could think of. I turned from him with disgust and hatred. But he was my master. I was compelled to live under the same roof with him, where I saw a man 40 years my senior, daily violating the most sacred commandments of nature. He told me I was his property, that I must be subject to his will in all things. My soul revolted against the mean tyranny. But where could I turn for protection? The mistress, who ought to protect the helpless victim, has no other feelings towards her but those of jealousy and rage. I would rather drudge out my life on a cotton plantation till the grave opened to give me rest than to live with an unprincipled master and a jealous mistress. I was soon convinced that her emotions arose from anger and wounded pride. She felt that her marriage vows were desecrated, her dignity insulted, but she had no compassion for the poor victim of her husband's perfidy. She pitied herself as a martyr, but she was incapable of feeling for the condition of shame and misery in which her unfortunate, helpless slave was placed. Sometimes I woke up and found her bending over me. At last, I began to be fearful for my life. It had often been threatened, and you can imagine better than I can describe what an unpleasant sensation it must produce to wake up in the dead of night and find a jealous woman bending over you. Terrible as this experience was, I had fears that it would give place to one more terrible.